When playing Deadlock or other MOBAs, you've probably heard the term power spike thrown around quite a bit. I use it a lot myself in videos and guides that I make. Problem is, nobody actually explains what a power spike is. So let's start with that, and then we'll move on to examples of how you can actually use this concept to help you win more Deadlock game. A power spike, as the name implies, is a significant boost in your hero's power. This can refer to either ability upgrades or item purchases. In Deadlock, at a very simple level, you can think of most items that are worth 3.2k souls or more as power spikes. Similarly, any 5 AP upgrade is a power spike. Let's take an obvious example to explain. Let's compare a 7 that has 8,000 souls and has 4 AP unspent to a 7 that has 9,000 souls and has just unlocked the last upgrade for his power surge. While the difference between the two in terms of souls is very small, only 1,000 souls, difference in power is huge. And that's because one 7 just hit a power spike, while the other is right before his power spike. It's important to understand that strength in Deadlock and power in general is not linear. What that means is that, you don't just get progressively stronger every 1,000 souls, and, if you have 8,000 souls versus 9,000, you're only, 10% stronger or anything like that. You can be 40 or 30% stronger, even though the soul difference might only be 5 or 10%. Your souls do give you like a general idea of how strong you are, but you might have a lot of souls unspent, or you might actually be like very close to upgrading your ability to the max level. You could actually be significantly weaker than your souls indicate. The opposite can also be true, meaning that if all of your souls are spent and you just unlock the 5 AP upgrade, let's say you spent all your souls on items, so you don't have any souls left, and you just upgraded, Lash Flog to max level, then you actually might be stronger than your souls indicate, at least a little bit. This is really important to understand because it should dictate a lot of your decisions in-game. Now let's talk about how you can use power spikes to your advantage. Now you understand what it is, how do you actually apply it in games? There's 3 principles that I always try to keep in mind. The first principle is planning ahead. You should always think about your next power spike. For example, if I'm playing as Lash and I have 2,200 souls, I will already know what I'll buy once I get to 3,200 souls. Try to always farm with intent. Do not mindlessly hit troopers or neutrals. When you're farming, think about what your next item is and think about your AP upgrade similarly. So if you're running around and you notice, hey, I've got 4 AP unspent, you're really close to maxing your ability, try to get some farms so you can max your ability. And once you have that, we'll talk about the second concept. To illustrate the first principle, let's look at this Lash clip. So here I'm playing Lash, I have 2,100 souls, and I'm going to the mid lane to farm another wave, right? As I'm farming this, the first principle is think about what you want to buy next, right? And so I'm already thinking about my next item, and I'm thinking, okay, I want to buy Warpstone. I don't want to buy a 1,600 item. I want to buy a 3,200 item. So here I'm farming the mid boxes, which are a great source of souls. And I know that this is going to get me to my item, or if not, it's going to get me really, really close, right? I'm farming these things, hoping to get close to Warpstone. Now, as you'll see, the moment that I have enough money to Warpstone, I'm going to climb back up here, clear this wave because it's right in front of me. And here I'm just going to get enough money to get my purchase. Always clear the wave first, right? Obviously, I'm not rushing to the shop as fast as I possibly can. I'm going to clear the wave, go to the shop, and then I'm going to buy a Warpstone right away. As you can see, this took my unsecured souls on the bottom left. It took them from 600 to 200 because unsecured souls are spent last. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Now, the second principle is looking for opportunities. The moment you hit your power spike, you are the strongest you will be for the next 1 to 2 minutes. It's your advantage to get active and try to make things happen. You want to look for fights, you want to be aggressive on the map in general. What you don't want to do is use your power spike to just farm your own jungle. This is your best chance to essentially have impact on the map, right? This is your best chance to fight because you're at the strongest that you're going to be while others may not be. For example, let's say that you just hit your power spike and you're fighting someone in a lane and they're actually 500 souls away from a power spike, or they don't have a shop nearby and they haven't had a chance to buy. You might actually be significantly stronger than the top of the scoreboard indicates. This is why you really want to try to get active around power spike timings. To look at this example, here we've got a game where I'm playing Lash. I've got 6,300 souls and I'm heading to the secret shop right now, where I spend all of my money, right? So once again, I think of my purchases. I had not really planned all of it. I was hesitating between 2 items. And so I buy a Warpstone and Debuff Remover. Now I'm really strong because I just spent 6,200, so I just hit a huge spike, right? Because I spent a very large percentage of my net worth. And here I'm doing the Sinners, and Warden shows up, and I'm gonna run away at first because I don't want to get caged, but then I'm gonna be willing to fight him, right? And I want to take this fight because I just got really, really strong. And so compared to the Warden, most likely, I'm really strong. And so I run at him, we try to make the fight happen. Unfortunately, he's actually going to end up escaping, and I'm not going to show that. But you see how I positioned myself aggressively? Even though there was jungle to be done on my side of the map, I'm super, super deep on their side of the map and just trying to make things happen and not give them any breathing room the moment I hit my power spike. So always look for these opportunities and make sure that you're being active when you hit your strengths. The third principle is spending your souls effectively. If you've just farmed a few camps to reach the soul required for your power spike, make sure you spend all of it immediately. This is going to ensure your unsecured souls get spent so you don't drop a huge bag of souls if you die trying to get active after your power spike. Now, in order to understand this, let's look at how unsecured souls are spent. In the first example, you have 800 unsecured souls and you have a total of 2100 souls. 800 of those are unsecured. You buy a 1600 item, and that leaves you with 500 unsecured souls. Now, how does that work? Basically, when you buy, it always spends your secured souls first, right? So, and then it spends your unsecured souls after. So out of the 2100 souls, I have 1300 souls that are secured. So it's gonna spend those 1300 souls first. Then that leaves me with 800 unsecured souls. Now I need 300 more souls to buy the 1600 item. So it's gonna take 300 unsecured souls and it's gonna spend those. Now in the second example, I have 1600 souls and 800 unsecured. So this is the same amount of unsecured souls, but I spend all of it buying a 1600 item, and that leaves me with exactly 0 unsecured souls. This is why when you've just farmed a bunch of camps, you want to make sure to spend your money right away, and you don't want to keep farming because otherwise you're going to get a huge bag, and that can lead to wild net worth swings where you just die with like a 1500 soul bag, and then all of a sudden, you know, the guy that was 4,000 souls behind you is now even with you because he killed you and he got 1500 souls, and you essentially lost 1500 souls, right? So it's a very simple principle, but it's extremely important in order to reduce the amount of risk that you're taking in these games, and it also allows you to get active, right? Because you don't want to get active with a huge bag of souls that you can drop, but you do want to get active when you don't have a lot of unsecured souls to drop, because your death is not necessarily the end of the world. Now that you guys understand a little bit more about power spikes, try to think of which power spikes are really, really important for your hero. I can't give you an exhaustive list of all the power spikes for every hero because it's just not possible. But when you're playing your own hero, think about which items make you feel really strong, which items are kind of meh, and which items make you feel extremely strong, right? And think about those power spikes in your relative hero level. So for example, let's say that you're playing Yamato and you know that when you get Colossus or Mystic Reverb or something like that, you feel unbelievably strong. Well, if you have 5,000 souls, just be like, okay, I'm going to get 1,400. I'm going to get Colossus or Mystic Reverb or whatever, and then I'm going to get active on the map, right? And be like, hey, I'm willing to fight. Now, this doesn't mean you should force fights or you should force engagements, but you should position yourself in places where you feel like you can be aggressive and you feel like you can deny them resources. So at the very minimum, you should be on their side of the map, crossing the line that we talked about in the other video where I covered the Lash, right? So you got to cross that line, position yourself so that if there can be a fight, you are ready to take it and you are ready to get aggressive. That's all for today, folks. It's going to be a bit of a shorter video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm working on my editing skills and whatever, so let me know if you have any feedback in the comments. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.